Hey there everyone, hope you're doing very well. Welcome back to my channel, Book Time with Elvis, with me, Mark. It's a lovely sunny day. I don't look as bad as I thought I would do. I'm quite burnt. I got very burnt at a festival last weekend, but I thought I would look much more beetroot-like than I do. So that's a positive. Anyhow, I'm here with a book haul for you. It's quite a big one. I didn't think it'd be so big. I've not done one for a little while because I've kind of been waiting till I have enough to do, and then I end up probably with too much. So this might be quite a long video, but I'll do my best to keep it as short as possible. I want to start off with three books that were sent to me a while ago, very kindly by some subscribers. The first one was from Fee, and it's a beautiful copy here of Sheridan Le Fanu's Carmilla, the cult classic that inspired Dracula. It's a nice little hardback from Pushkin Press. So Fee, thank you so very much for that. I know I thanked you through other social media terms, but I did want to show it on here. It's very much appreciated. And I also received Brideshead Revisited from my good friend Sonia. That's very kind of her. And we, of course, will be buddy reading that, I believe, in June. So that would be great fun. I'm really looking forward to reading this. And lastly, regarding the subscriber books or viewer books, is this lovely Everyman's edition of the collected stories of Somerset Maugham, W. Somerset Maugham, who whoever sent it remains anonymous. They just signed it a fellow Maugham fan, Somerset Maugham fan. So whoever you are, by all means, please let me know. I mean, send me a message on Instagram or something, and at least allow me to thank you. But I'm very grateful for that. It's extremely kind of you. I'm always grateful whenever I receive books from people. It's such a lovely surprise, and I'm always so terribly humbled by it, really. It's a wonderful thought. Right, so where to begin? Well, I have quite a big haul of Daphne du Maurier books. The first two I actually got new, and one because I'm reading it in June as part of the Black Hearts Book Club pick, hosted by Very Literary Carrion. That's Daphne du Maurier's My Cousin Rachel. I really like this Virago Press. They usually have some wonderful covers, and a bit more about that in a second. Also, The King's General by Daphne du Maurier, of course. And then once the book depository closed down, I thought I would try an alternative, and I would buy some second-hand books from a company in the UK called World of Books. They do second-hand books, and it seemed like all taxes and stuff to the European Union, whatever, were included, and to some degree they were. However, there were a few issues with them. The books themselves were very reasonably priced to second-hand books, like £2-3, something like that, which was very nice indeed. And then it was about £2-3 per book to send, which again wasn't too bad, I suppose. But yeah, the issue arose partly in two ways. The first 5 books came absolutely no problem. I got them. The only disappointment was that I'd hoped to get them all in the newer cover, like the Virago Press, like these ones. Certainly those were the ones I clicked on, but only one of them actually came in that format, and that's The Fly to the Falcon. The others came in the older cover art, which is okay. I'm not too bad, and the condition, I have to say, is for second-hand books is pretty good. So look at the glass blowers here. It looks like I don't think it's ever been read, so it's excellent condition, albeit the wrong cover. But I'm not going to be too picky. House on the Strand. There's another one there. Quite a big one from du Maurier. This one, Hungry Hill. Again, wonderful condition. I think it's again never been read. And Frenchman's Creek, a little bit worse condition. Probably has been read maybe once, or not too bad though, but still, it's all right. But those are okay. I mean, apart from not getting the cover that I anticipated, I'm not complaining too much. The issue came with the last book, which they sent separately, because I think they said it came from a different warehouse, and It's the one in the worst condition, I suppose. You can't really see it, but the spine is quite cracked there, and it's like fraying a bit. And again, it was only a couple of quid, so I thought, it's not too bad. However, it turned out to be the most expensive paperback book I've bought in a long time, because it probably went from the initial £3 or whatever to costing me around £17, because it got stopped by Czech customs when it came from into the European Union, and then I had to pay some tax on it, which amounted to maybe another couple of pounds. And then Czech Post or Česká pošta decided to charge me, of course, for their customs clearance service a further £10. So there was at least an extra £13-14 levied on this second-hand book. So yeah, the problem is, as I say, the first 5 arrived fine, no problems, no issues with custom, nothing like that. So I thought, great. Once this arrived and I had to deal with all that rigmarole, it left a sour taste in my mouth. So I'm not sure World of Books is going to be the alternative for me, sadly, because I have no objection to second-hand books at all. So it would have been quite nice, but hey ho. Next up, I have Josephine Tey's The Daughter of Time, which I'm currently reading, and I'm reading this at the moment with Shelley Swearingen. We started it on Saturday, and we're only reading about 30-40 pages per day, so we'll be finished soon. It's not a big book, and it's a wonderful read. I can honestly say we're both enjoying it very much. Hopefully it will remain that way through to the end, and I'm very much looking forward to talking about this book once it's finished. Next up, I have Patricia Highsmith's Strangers on a Train, which I've long wanted to read. I read Talented Mr. Ripley by her, but I always loved Alfred Hitchcock's film adaptation of this, and didn't realise for a while that it was actually a book, and a book by such a well-known author as well. So that makes it very intriguing, and I look forward very much to, as I say, getting to this one. Oops. And then what we have are a couple of classics. I recently finished Stendhal's The Charterhouse of Parma and loved it so much that I had to go and get his The Red and the Black, which I believe is quite popular, and a lot of people say it's very good. And so if it's, if I enjoy Charterhouse of Parma so much and this is supposed to be very good, I'm probably in for a treat. And the next two are by an author I have been wanting to really get into again, and that's Sir Walter Scott. I've read in the past Ivanhoe, Rob Roy and Heart of Midlothian, but I haven't read Waverley, and I want to get to that at some point there. I do love these Oxford World Classics, actually. I'm not sure if they're my favourite when it comes between, Penguin and Oxford World, but they might be, actually. I like the way they feel, maybe. Well, I don't know. I'm sure I'll pick up a Penguin. Pick up a Penguin. English people of a certain age will certainly know what I mean by that. So I look forward to getting to that. And then I came across one that I hadn't come across before, and it's actually supposed to be Walter Scott's own personal favourite book of his, which is The Antiquary. And of course, being bookish people, it's probably a good fit, and I'm looking forward to getting to that at some point as well. And what next? So yes, recently, very literary, Carrie and I read The Manchurian Candidate, which we both thoroughly enjoyed, and we found out there was some controversy regarding plagiarism in the book, where a couple of passages apparently were lifted verbatim from Robert Graves' I, Claudius, and that inspired us to read it. So probably, if we can, we will get to it next month. So there you go, it's the Penguin Classics version here of I, Claudius by Robert Graves, and I might as well have got, which I did, the second part there, Claudius the God, as well. So I hope YouTube doesn't mind the bit of nudity that was shown in those two books, and I hope you, the viewer, don't mind either. I'm sure there aren't too many prudes among you. Now, sticking with the Roman theme, I picked up, I don't know if I'd actually shown it when I got it. I'd got Stoner by John Williams, and I wanted to read his Augustus, which I got as well. So I look forward very much to reading this one too. As always, of course, please do let me know down below in the comments if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them. I always love to hear what you ladies and gentlemen have to say about things. Right, next up, I have a book that I fell in love with last year, and it was Parnassus on Wheels by Christopher Morley. And part of my last order from the book depository, I was able to order his two novels in one volume, and that's Parnassus in Wheels, along with The Haunted Bookshop. And I've not read The Haunted Bookshop yet, but to be honest, I loved this so much that I'm going to have to go back and read that again, and then move on to, I don't know if it's a sequel or if it's completely unrelated, but certainly it's his other famous work, and that's a nice little edition. Okay, then I have maybe a couple of books here that could be used for BookTube at War. Certainly that's what I got them in mind, and this one is primarily because it brings back many memories of childhood and reading, and it is a children's book. And it's Ian Serrelier's The Silver Sword, which is what my moving story about a family in Poland. The night the Nazis take their mother away, three children escape in a dangerous scramble across the rooftops of Warsaw, where they have to learn to survive on their own. Then they meet Jan, a boy with a paper knife, the silver sword, that they recognise as belonging to their long-lost father. The sword becomes their symbol of hope, and they begin the hazardous journey across war-torn Europe to find their parents. And yeah, I really want to get back to read this after such a long time. I mean, it was probably something like 1987, maybe 88, when we had this read to us at school. And another contender for BookTube at War is R.F. Delderfield's Too Few the Drums, which I don't know if any of you know it, which is a Napoleonic War novel. Not very big, but it looks like it would be fun after the British victory. I haven't read all the others because I think they're quite well known, so I'm only reading the few that maybe you don't know, or just that I think you'd be interested in hearing the back of. After the British victory at Busaco during the Peninsular Campaign of the Napoleonic Wars, Ensign Keith Graham finds himself cut off from the army along with a sergeant and 7 privates. The ill-assorted, tattered band is joined by Welsh camp follower Gwyneth, and she and Sergeant Fox help guide 19-year-old Graham to manhood and leadership, struggling through strange, often hostile territory with insufficient food and sometimes mutinous men. His one aim is to reach the coast and hopefully safety. So I think that'd be great fun for BookTube at War. And another Delderfield which might qualify, seeing as it's got certainly somebody affected by war in it, and it's this lovely copy there of To Serve Them All My Days, which I started reading in ebook a few weeks ago and thought, wow, this is going to be amazing. So I thought I'd have to get a physical copy to read. Minor son David Pilot Jones returns from the carnage of the Western Front in 1918, shell-shocked and bitterly hardened by the violence of war. He begins life again as a master at a remote Devon school, controlling the destiny of boys barely his junior. As the years pass, David becomes a teacher of rare talent, begins to find peace, and adjusts to the changes that are overwhelming society. But when the threat of conflict and bloodshed begins to loom large once again, David has to face up to the prospect of another terrible war. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting to that one. And then we have John Me Falcon's Moonfleet, which I think is quite well known, so that would be good fun, possibly sometime in the summer. And then a bit more light-hearted, we have Arthur Conan Doyle's The Complete Brigadier Gerard, which is always good fun. I don't think I've read all of the stories in the Brigadier Gerard series, but here they all are, so I will definitely be dipping in and out of this over the course of the summer, specifically, again, BookTube at War. And then the last two were part of my last order from the much lamented book depository, and it's Arabia Felix, the Danish expedition of 1761 and 1767 by Thorkild Hansen. And this is basically the spellbinding true story of a scientific expedition gone disastrously awry. On a winter morning 1761, 6 men leave Copenhagen by sea: a botanist, a philologist, an astronomer, a doctor, an artist, and their manservant. An ill-assorted band of men who dislike and distrust one another from the start. These are the members of the Danish expedition of Arabia Felix, as Yemen was then known. The first organised foray into the corner of the world unknown to Europeans. The expedition made its way to Turkey and Egypt, by which time its members were already actively seeking to undercut and even kill one another before disappearing into the harsh desert that was their destination. Nearly 7 years later, a single survivor returned to Denmark to find himself forgotten, and all the specimens that had been sent back ruined by neglect. Based on diaries, notebooks, and sketches that lay unread in Danish archives until the 20th century, Arabia Felix is a tale of intellectual rivalry and a comedy of very bad manners, as well as an utterly absorbing adventure. So that sounds great fun, and possibly an August of adventure pick there, I think. And the last one is, again, another one of the last books ordered from the book depository, and it's Frans G. Bengtsson's The Longships, with an introduction by Michael Chabon, which I've read a few of his works along with my good friends Greg from Another Bibliophile Reads and Alan from Big Hard Books and Classics. So as you can guess, this is a story of Vikings. The Longships resurrects the fantastic world of the 10th century AD, when Vikings roamed and rampaged from the northern fastnesses of Scandinavia down to the Mediterranean. Bengtsson's hero, Red Orm, canny, courageous, and above all lucky, is only a boy when he's abducted from his Danish home by the Vikings and made to take his place at the oars of their proud ships. Orm is then captured by the Moors in Spain, where he's initiated into the pleasures of the senses and fights for the Caliph of Cordoba. Escaping from captivity, Orm washes up in Ireland, where he marvels at those epicene creatures, the Christian monks, and from which he then moves on to play an ever more important part in the intrigues of various Scandinavian kings and clans and dependencies. Eventually, Orm contributes to the Viking defeat of the army of the King of England and returns home, an off-the-cuff Christian and a very rich man. Though back on his native turf, new trials and tribulations will test his cunning and determination. Packed with pitched battles and blood feuds and told throughout with wit and high spirits, Bengtsson's book is a splendid adventure that features one of the most unexpectedly winning heroes in modern fiction. So that sounds awesome. So there we have it. I managed to keep the video fairly short for one of my book hauls, I think, so I didn't do too badly. And I hope you enjoyed it. And as I say, do let me know down below what you think of any of these books, if you've read them, or if you, as always, have any other recommendations that you think I might enjoy based on what you've seen here today. So thank you ever so much, as always, for watching, and I wish you all a fantastic holiday, if you have today as a holiday. I didn't, but no matter. Do take care, everybody, and see you next time. Bye bye.